Namaskar. A warm welcome to World News and Indian Perspective on All India Radio. This is Renuka and with me is Manoj Singh Rana bringing glimpses of the major developments of the day from across the globe. Over the next half an hour, we shall bring to you the latest from the world of politics, economy, sports, entertainment and more. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi talks to President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky on the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. Nobel for Physics to be shared by 3 scientists for their work on quantum mechanics. Air Chief Marshal B.R. Chaudhary says Indian Air Force is keeping an eye on Chinese Air Force activities in areas along the LAC. North Korea fires ballistic missile over Japan. Bangladesh to bring law for banning sale of antibiotic medicines. In Women's T20 Asia Cup, India beat UAE by 104 runs at Sylhet in Bangladesh. And in men's cricket, South Africa sets a target of 228 for India in the third and final T20 International. Now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday had a telephonic conversation with President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky. Both the leaders discussed the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. Mr. Modi reiterated his call for an early cessation of hostilities and the need to pursue the path of dialogue and diplomacy. He expressed his firm conviction that there can be no military solution to the conflict and conveyed India's readiness to contribute to any peace efforts. The Prime Minister also reiterated the importance of respecting the UN Charter, international law, and the sovereignty and territorial integrity of all states. He emphasized the importance India attaches to the safety and security of nuclear installations, including in Ukraine. Mr. Modi underlined that engagement of nuclear facilities could have far-reaching and catastrophic consequences on public health and the environment. The two leaders also touched upon important areas of bilateral cooperation following up on their last meeting in Glasgow in November last year. Union Home Minister Amit Shah on Tuesday said that Jammu and Kashmir has emerged as the most secured place after the abrogation of Article 370 as the militancy-related incidents are at an all-time low. AIR Jammu correspondent reports that addressing a massive rally at bus stand Rajouri, Amit Shah said those who would state that blood will flow if Article 370 was rolled back should go through figures of militancy-related incidents. As against the previous figures of 4,767 militancy-related incidents reported in a year, the figure dropped to 721 only. Killing of security forces personnel has decreased to 137 a year, which was lowest ever. The Home Minister further said a sustained drive launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi against militants, separatists and Hurriyat bore fruit, and stones in the hands of youth that were replaced by laptops yielded good results. Amit Shah said J&K is a secure place and the youth are competing in different fields like any other youth of the country. Shah also said that on Tuesday, people of Jammu and Kashmir have Gram Panchayat, Zilla Panchayat and Tehsil Panchayat, which didn't happen in the past 70 years. He said that post-Article 370 rollback, 56,000 crore rupees outside investment has reached J&K that would ultimately provide employment to youth. He hailed Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha for announcing holiday on the birth anniversary of Maharaja Hari Singh. He said that for the first time, direct flight from Srinagar to Sharjah was launched and night flight operations were started in Srinagar. First time in history, 1,62 lakh tourists visited J&K since January 2022. He said the Delimitation Commission was constituted to give due representation to Gujjar, Bakerwals and Pahadis, which otherwise was a dream.
Ale Aspek, John F. Clauser and Anton Zeilinger have won the 2022 Nobel Prize in Physics for their work on quantum mechanics by the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences. The Academy of Sciences has decided to award the scientists for their experiments with entangled photons, establishing the violation of Bell inequalities and pioneering quantum information science. Ale Aspek is a French physicist, Anton Zeilinger an Austrian, and John Clauser an American. The Nobel Prize for Chemistry will be announced on Wednesday, followed by Literature and Peace Prizes on Thursday and Friday respectively. In today's Hotspot section, we bring you a report on India's space program by science journalist K.V. Venkata Subramaniam.
Nearly 6 decades ago, India carved its name in space launch by launching a 2-stage Nike Apache-sounding rocket from Kerala's obscure fishing hamlet Tumba near Thiruvananthapuram. A technician carried the rocket on a bicycle from the assembly line to the launch pad, and a bullock cart ferried the payload. Since then, the Indian Space Odyssey has traversed numerous landmarks. The Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, has emerged as a key player in global satellite launches and manufacturing industry. The nation has earned international recognition for launching lunar probes, built satellites for others too, ferried foreign satellites up, and even succeeded in reaching Mars. The space agency has developed heavy lift launch vehicles and communication satellites that have made telephones, mobile phones, satellite television, telemedicine and teleeducation a part of our daily life. India's planetary program got a boost with the launch of the Mars Orbiter mission, or MOM. Since September 2014, the Mars Orbiter, Mangalyaan, has been observing Martian landscapes and studying their composition using its 5 science instruments. India built the Mangalyaan to study the red planet and test key technologies required for exploring the inner solar system. It made ISRO the 4th space agency in the world to do so. Prior to India, the United States, the Soviet Union and the European Space Agency alone had successfully explored Mars. India added a feather to its cap by sending the first lunar spacecraft, Chandrayaan-1, to the moon, the first under the Chandrayaan program. Its major goal was to collect data about the moon's geology, mineralogy and topography. Chandrayaan-1 played a crucial role in the discovery of water molecules on the moon. The findings were confirmed by the U.S. Space Agency, National Aeronautics and Space Administration. The mission was concluded after a year. 10 years later, Chandrayaan-1 was followed in July 2019 by Chandrayaan-2, a highly complex mission that represented a significant technological leap compared to the previous missions of ISRO. Chandrayaan-2 is considered as a challenging mission as the south polar region of the moon was totally unexplored by any space agency before. The program focuses on the extensive mapping of the lunar surface for studying variations in its composition and tracing the moon's origin and evolution. Its orbital experiments will be operational for 7 years. The upcoming missions of the Indian Space Research Organization mainly focus on manned space travel, Gaganyaan, studying the Sun, Aditya L1, and soft landing on the Moon, Chandrayaan-3. In addition, several satellite launches, both domestic and foreign, are also scheduled by ISRO this year. The moon orbiter of Chandrayaan-2 has been operating successfully for more than 2 years. However, the Vikram lander had suffered a hard landing after loss of control over the thrust of the spacecraft. To avoid a similar incident with Chandrayaan-3, ISRO has made adjustments to the lander. There is a change in the propulsion system. Similar to Chandrayaan-2, the program is expected to target a near-polar landing area and will operate for a single lunar day, 14 Earth days on the surface. ISRO is also slated to launch the space docking experiment towards the end of 2024. It includes launching 2 satellites on PSLV and then making them to dock with each other in the vacuum of space. The project could set the stage for a future space station from India. ISRO's manned Gaganyaan mission is also moving ahead. The selected Indian astronauts have successfully undergone generic space flight training in Russia. An ad hoc astronaut training center has been established in Bengaluru. Ahead of the launch, ISRO will test mission abort sequences. The tests are designed to verify that emergency systems will be able to deliver astronauts to safety in the event of anomalies during launch. ISRO plans to launch 2 trial flights without crew. A female humanoid robot named Vyom Mitra will be a part of the unmanned and manned missions. India's next grand project is the scientific mission to the Sun. The Aditya L1 mission will probe why solar flares and solar winds disturb the communication network and electronics on Earth. ISRO plans to use the data from the satellite to better protect its satellites from being damaged by hot winds and flares ejected out of the Sun's corona. Anuja Kumar for World News.
Swedish geneticist Svante Babu has won the 2022 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine for discoveries that provides our understanding of how modern-day humans evolved from extinct ancestors. The awards panel said his study also provides key insights into immune system and humans' uniqueness compared with their extinct cousins. Babu's key achievements include sequencing an entire Neanderthal genome to reveal the link between extinct people and modern humans. 67-year-old Babu performed his prize-winning studies in Germany at the University of Munich and at the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology in Leipzig. Babu is the son of son Bergstrom, who won the Nobel Prize in Medicine in 1982. Indian Air Force Chief, Air Chief Marshal V.R. Chaudhary has said that the recent developments at the global stage indicate the need for a strong military to ward off any challenges. Addressing media in New Delhi on Tuesday about the Air Force Day to be celebrated on 8th of this month, he said the IAF is innovating to stay ahead of the curve as the battlefield on Wednesday transforms and becomes more technology-driven. He assured the countrymen that the IAF is ready to take on the future and it will continue to touch the sky with glory. The IAF chief said this engagement has taken place in areas along the LAC and the Indian Air Force is keeping an eye on Chinese Air Force activities. He also said that the IAF will use the Indian Army hotline to communicate with the Chinese in case of any airspace violation or other issues. The Chief of Air Staff said the IAF will continue to be actively deployed while at the same time expediting the operationalization of recently inducted systems including Rafale, Light Combat Aircraft LCA and S-400. He added that the Indian Air Force is looking forward to inducting LCA Mk-1A, HTT-40 trainers, indigenous weapons and different radars. He also said that the light combat helicopters, which was inducted into the Air Force on Monday, will add teeth to the IAF strike capability. The Indian Air Force Day will be celebrated in Chandigarh, in which 74 aircraft including single-engine MiG-21 aircraft, fighters, transport planes along with helicopters will participate. For the first time, the Air Force Day will be celebrated outside Ghaziabad's Hindon base. This is All India Radio giving you the world news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR Newslet.
Welcome back. You're listening to the World News. North Korea on Tuesday fired an intermediate-range ballistic missile over Japan for the first time in 5 years. It forced Japan to issue evacuation notices and suspend trains during the flight of the missile. The launch was the most provocative weapons demonstration by North Korea this year as it ramps up missile tests to a record pace. This test was North Korea's fifth round of missile launches in 10 days. The Japanese Prime Minister's office said at least one missile fired from North Korea flew over Japan and is believed to have landed into the Pacific Ocean. Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida told reporters that the firing was a reckless act and he strongly condemned it. Japanese Chief Cabinet Secretary Hirokazu Matsuno said no damage was immediately reported from the missile that was in the air for 22 minutes. Japanese authorities alerted residents in northeastern regions to evacuate to shelters in the first J alert since 2017. U.S. National Security Council spokesperson Adrian Watson said in a statement that the U.S. condemns the launch as dangerous and reckless. The spokesperson said National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan had consulted his South Korean and Japanese counterparts on the appropriate and robust responses. South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff said in a statement it detected the missile being fired from the inland north in North Korea. South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol said the North's reckless nuclear provocations would meet the stern response of the South and the broader international community. Both South Korea and Japan convened an emergency National Security Council meeting to discuss the launch. According to South Korean and Japanese estimates, the missile travelled about 4,500 to 4,600 kilometers at a maximum altitude of 970 to 1,000 kilometers before landing in the waters outside Japan's exclusive economic zone. The government of Bangladesh will soon bring a law to ban sale of antibiotic medicines by drugstores without prescription. Health Minister Zahid Malik said in Dhaka on Tuesday that those medicine shops who give antibiotic medicine to customers without proper prescription would lose their license for running the shop. The minister said the misuse of antibiotics is a silent killer. Citing data, he said all over the world, close to 15 lakh people lose their lives due to excessive and unnecessary consumption of antibiotic medicines. Bangladesh is also witnessing the negative effects of the rise in the consumption of antibiotics on public health, said the minister. Zahid Malik pointed out that the presence of antibiotics was detected in meat and fish also, which is a matter of grave concern. He emphasized upon the need to create public awareness against the excessive and unnecessary use of antibiotics.
The United States will soon deliver to Ukraine 4 more of the advanced rocket systems credited with helping the country's military gain momentum in its military operation with Russia. The high-mobility artillery rocket systems, known as HIMARS, will be part of a new $625 million package of aid expected to be announced on Tuesday, according to the U.S. officials. The decision marks the first time the U.S. has sent more HIMARS to Ukraine since late July, and it will bring the total number delivered so far to 20. The systems have become a key tool in Ukraine's ability to strike bridges that Russia has used to supply its troops, enabling Ukrainian forces to make inroads in Russia-controlled regions. U.S. in recent weeks also provided funding through a separate program, the Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative, so another 18 HIMARS can be purchased through longer-term contracts. In the Women's T20 Asia Cup, Indian women team won by 104 runs over United Arab Emirates. Indian women team had set a target of 179 runs at the Sylhet District Stadium in Sylhet, but UAE could score only 74 runs for 4 wickets. Earlier, Indian women won the toss and opted to bat. Regular captain Harmanpreet Kaur was rested for the game and Smriti Mandhana was leading the side. India posted 178 for 5 in 20 overs with Jemima Rodriguez hammered an unbeaten knock of 75 runs off 45 balls, including 11 fours. Deepti Sharma also played a crucial knock of 64 runs off 49 balls. Meanwhile, Chaya Mughal, Mahika Gaur, Isha Oza and Surasha Kote registered a wicket each for UAE. In another match on Tuesday, Sri Lanka defeated Thailand by 49 runs.
The Sensex and the Nifty today climbed more than 2%. Both indices gained as the cues from the global share markets were positive. The Sensex finished above the 58,000 mark, while the Nifty settled above the 17,250 level. The rupee today strengthened 36 paise against the US dollar. We have a report from the business desk.
The Sensex rose 1,277 points to close at 58,065. The Nifty also surged 387 points to end the day at 17,274. At the global stock markets, Asian stocks bounced back after Britain scrapped parts of a controversial tax cut plan, tentatively improving global market sentiment and rallying bonds and the pound. Japan's Nikkei 225 rose 3% and South Korea's Kospi gained 2.5%. Singapore's Straits Times ended 1.2% up. Hong Kong's Hang Seng and China's Shanghai composite markets were closed in lieu of holidays. European shares were positive in intraday trade. Oil prices rose as expectations that OPEC Plus may agree to a large cut in crude output tomorrow offset concerns about the global economy. In intraday trade, Brent crude was trading at $90.20 per barrel. And in the forex market, the rupee strengthened today by 36 paise against the US dollar. The domestic currency closed at 81 rupees and 52 paise against the American unit. Gaurang Lal for World News, All India Radio.
All India Radio is celebrating 75 years of freedom with a series Azad Bharat Ki Baat Akashvani Ke Saath. It showcases the journey of India since independence in various walks of life through the storytelling of All India Radio. In today's episode, we bring you the story of Yog, India's gift to the world.
The practice of yoga is believed to have started with the very dawn of civilization. Sage Patanjali, who compiled the first yoga philosophy, defines yoga as an ability to control random thoughts and achieve a stillness that creates inner harmony. Yoga, the ancient physical, mental and spiritual practice, is India's gift to the world, which brings about a unison of the body and the consciousness with the surroundings and nature. Yogacharya B.K.S. Iyengar had said, Yoga is all about bringing your attention along with awareness to each and every cell of your body. He said asanas are meant to connect the physical and factual wisdom of the body with the analytical mind and to coordinate with cooperation among the body and mind. If there is coordination, then the person is on the spiritual level.
So yoga, for me, as far as I understand, is to unite the body with the mind and taking body and mind together to be in par with the eternal, evergreen state of this self.
At the initiative of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, United Nations General Assembly took a historic decision in 2014 to declare the 21st of June as the International Day of Yoga. Prime Minister Modi, during his maiden address to the UN General Assembly, said, Yoga is an invaluable gift of our ancient tradition. It embodies unity of mind and body, thought and action, restraint and fulfillment, harmony between man and nature, a holistic approach to health and well-being.
योग हमारी पुरातन पारंपरिक अमूल्य देन है.
Is a invaluable contribution
मन
of our
व शरीर,
country, of our
विचार
tradition.
व कर्म,
Yoga,
संयम
our heart, our
व उपलब्धि
body,
की,
our ideology,
एकात्मता
our
का
actions,
तथा मानव
everything
व
is
प्रकृति
a
के
part
बीच
of our country.
सामंजस्य का
And in order
मूर्त
to,
रूप है.
it's important that
ये
we have
स्वास्थ्य
a coordination
व कल्याण का
between all these.
समग्र दृष्टिकोण
And
है.
this is an important
योग
perspective.
केवल व्यायाम भर न होकर
Yoga
अपने
should
आप
not be
से
just an exercise
तथा
for
विश्व
us, but
व प्रकृति के साथ
it should be
तादात्म्य को प्राप्त करने का
a means.
माध्यम है.
Yoga's inclusion as the world intangible cultural heritage by the UNESCO highlights its global significance and benefits for the entire humanity. It propagates the message Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramaya, which means wishing all happiness and wishing all a disease-free life. People across the world in over 170 countries have embraced yoga in their lives to remain healthy. Indian missions and posts all over the world have channelized great enthusiasm and interest for yoga in their host countries. Special events at iconic global locations from the Eiffel Tower to Mount Everest Base Camp have taken place with the participation of hundreds of thousands of yoga enthusiasts. The word yoga itself connotes unity and signifies an integrated vision of human life. The world today is beleaguered with conflicts, violence, ill health and ill will. Let us collectively rediscover the limitless benefits of this ancient science, which promotes the message of brotherhood and amity in the finest Indian tradition of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam.
आजाद भारत की बात आकाशवाणी के साथ can be accessed on @AIR News Alerts on Twitter, News on AIR official YouTube channel, News on AIR app, and Facebook and Instagram handles of All India Radio. So tune into All India Radio News for Azad Bharat Ki Baat आकाशवाणी के साथ.
देश भर में धूम मचाए ज्ञान का ये उपहार, मोबाइल पे आजादी क्वेस्ट आया आजादी का इतिहास. डाउनलोड कर रे आजादी क्वेस्ट, ये लो जीतो ढेरों इनाम. मौका पाए जुड़ने का रेडियो और डीडी के साथ. सिर्फ खेल नहीं उत्सव है, आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव है. आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव है.
डाउनलोड करें आजादी क्वेस्ट ऐप और पाएं ढेरों इनाम.
In cricket, South Africa defeated India by 49 runs in a high-scoring game in the third and last T20 international at Holkar Stadium in Indore. India won the three-match series by 2-1. Chasing a target of 228 runs, India were all out for 178 runs in 18.3 overs. Dinesh Karthik with 46 was the top scorer for India. For visitors, Dwayne Pretorius scaled 3 wickets while Wayne Parnell, Lungi Ngidi and Keshav Maharaj took 2 wickets each. Put it to bat first, the visitors scored 227 runs for 3 wickets in the stipulated 20 overs. Riley Rousseau scored an unbeaten century. Quinton de Kock also contributed to the team's cause with a 43 ball. Earlier, the host won the toss and elected to field. Now let us take a look at the major developments around the world as reported in the foreign press. New York Times notes that in retreat on Ukrainian fronts, Russia shows signs of disarray. The Washington Post reports that UK facing massive train strikes in new blow to Liz Truss's government. The Guardian writes that Sudan campaigners demand action after alarming rise in honor killings. South China Morning Post reports Hong Kong blood donations dry up because of COVID-19 pandemic, but no sign of rebound as restrictions ease, online survey shows. The Financial Times writes that NATO's Jens Stoltenberg warns Russia of severe consequences if it uses nuclear weapons. The Japan Times says Japan orders Russian consul to leave in retaliatory move. The Wall Street Journal writes that vaccine-resistant Ebola strain spreads in Uganda.
India on Tuesday called for an urgent end to the political deadlock in Iraq and urged parties to hold a peaceful dialogue for meeting people's aspirations and hopes to secure a safe and prosperous future for them. Ambassador R. Ravindra, Deputy Permanent Representative of India to the UN at a Security Council meeting on the situation concerning Iraq, said that it has been nearly a year that the people of Iraq do not have an elected government. He noted that the continuing political impasse impacts the people of Iraq directly, who have already endured immense challenges in the last 2 decades, from terrorism to economic hardships. India urged that all the political parties must rise above their differences and assume greater responsibilities to overcome the current stalemate. A peaceful dialogue and a constructive way forward is the need of the hour, he added. In this regard, India welcomed the convening of the national dialogue among Iraq's political leaders and parties. Constructive engagement by all parties in the dialogue is a critical first step to avoid further political deadlock and violence, he said. Ambassador also said that the ongoing political instability also affects the security situation in Iraq, which continues to be fragile and volatile. India expressed deep concerns about the continued terrorist attacks of the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant. India condemned all such acts and called upon Iraq's neighbors to work with the Iraqi authorities to address all the security challenges that they face. India also praised Iraq, saying that despite its internal challenges, Iraq continues to be a positive contributor to regional stability and friendly relations.
And now a quick look at the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi talks to President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, on the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. Nobel for Physics to be shared by 3 scientists for their work on quantum mechanics. Air Chief Marshal B.R. Chaudhary says Indian Air Force is keeping an eye on Chinese Air Force activities in areas along LAC. North Korea files ballistic missiles over Japan. Bangladesh to bring law for banning sale of antibiotic medicines. In Women's T20 Asia Cup cricket, India beat UAE by 104 runs at Sylhet in Bangladesh. And in men's cricket, South Africa beat India by 49 runs in the third and final T20 International. And now, before we end, let us listen to Mahatma Gandhi's favorite bhajan, Vaishnavajam, by artists from Denmark.
पीड़ पराई जाने रे सकल लोग ना सहले बंदे निंदा न करे केने रे बात का धन धन जननी सैनी रे वैष्णव जन तू कीने कहिए गे.
And with that, we end this bulletin. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of World News.